Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Every man deserves to know his T levels. Step into Game Day Men's Health Solon and get tested on us. No guesswork, no waiting, just real answers. Bull, we had a Guardians game last night. Why don't you tee us up for this?
Yeah, so the Guardians won their second straight. We're going to talk with Rich Waltz later from Apple TV because the Guardians are starting a series with the Twins, a long homestand. I think it's either 9 or 10 games.
It's 10.
10 games, yeah.
It's 10.
Against two teams that are bad and one that's playing bad. Yesterday, they defeat the Royals. Slade Ciccone was not very good again, but he was better.
Believe
it or not, if the season ended today, the Guardians and A's would be tied for the 2 seed in the American League.
That's absurd.
They're tied for the third. That's because the Yankees have the best record in the American League.
And the Rays are second.
The Rays are second, but they'd be a wild card because they're in the same division. There's only 2 teams in the American League more than a game over 500. The Guardians and the A's are both a game over 500. The AL stinks right now.
But before we dive into the game last night in Bo Naylor's home run, why do you think the AL in general, just top to bottom, is so mediocre so far? Like, is there a specific reason? Is it lack of talent?
I think there are a lot of mediocre teams. I think there are some teams in the National League that are playing a little over their skis right now, like the Cardinals. But right now you got 4 teams way out in front with great records. You got the Yankees, the Rays, the Cubs, and the Braves. And then the Dodgers are not too far behind. After those 5 teams, everybody else is kind of mediocre. So there are more teams slightly over 500 in the National League than the American League. So it seems like the National League is much better. In particular, the
Central versus Central.
The AL West and the AL Central are awful. And the NL Central is really deep. There's no bad team in the NL Central. I thought the Cardinals would be bad. I still think they will be under 500 by the end of the year, but they're playing well right now. I give them credit. I thought the Pirates would be a lot better this year, and they are. The Reds were, they made the playoffs last year, although they're in a major funk now.
Brewers.
And the Brewers are always competitive.
They always,
no matter, they're like the Guardians. Like, even when their roster doesn't look that great, they're always in the mix. So you have that. But even in the National League, you have teams like some of the worst teams record-wise in baseball right now. Like the Phillies and Mets have 2 of the worst records in baseball.
They got
good rosters, 2 high payrolls.
The Guardians.
It's a weird season right now, but the Guardians, the division's wide open. They have no reason not to win this division.
The Guardians are doing what I hope the blueprint for the Cleveland Browns could be. If you are playing younger players and those younger players struggle, but then get back on the horse, I'm super encouraged by DeLauder. Because at one point in time, he was really crushing the ball, home runs. Then he went through a long slump where they're like, ooh, you're looking kind of bad at the plate right now.
Yeah.
Now he's back on a tear. What is it, 10, 11 game hitting streak now? Now.
23 ribbies. He's on pace for over 90 ribbies.
So if you
for a rookie.
And he hasn't been
pace
hurt.
for 100.
Has not been hurt.
Close to it, yeah. That's true. We're not quite at the quarter pole yet.
So I like the fact that we already got Bazzana up here.
Yeah.
So now,
he made a great play in the field. Did you guys see the highlight of that play?
Listen, he
his
made
back,
a heck of a play. So look, if they want to be, I'm looking at it from that perspective. Y'all playing a bunch of young players. They, Jose ain't even really started hitting. Quan was looking horrible. He's been terrible.
Finally
he started hitting a little bit. So now,
and Bo Naylor with the home run last.
Bo Naylor hit a home run. So now I'm looking around and say, if the Guardians can get it together, and this sounded kind of crazy.
Yeah.
This is how this works. I've never watched this many Guardians baseball games in the last 5 years. I don't miss these joints. And it's because you have young players that you can look at and say, oh, okay, I'm watching every single at bat. I'm seeing, listen, and so for me, if they can continue to do this, tread some water, and win the division, this is a huge win for the Guardians.
Well, if they can win the division, it'd be monumental. But to your point on the younger players and the excitement, I'm going to the game tonight.
Oh,
it's my first Guardians game of the season.
And it's early.
Well, it's a 7:15 game.
But it was early in the year.
Early in the year, I passed up a couple tickets in April.
Right.
Too cold. It's finally warm enough where I'm like, all right, it's worth going to. But I'm excited to see Bazzana in person for the first time. I'm excited to see DeLauder in person for the first time. I've never seen Parker Messick pitch in person. Excited to see Parker on the mound tonight. They have some guys now up on this team that there's genuine excitement from a I'm not a casual fan, but like I'm not a diehard like Bull when it comes to the Guardians.
Right.
I got other stuff going on. When the Cavs season ends, I dive more into it. But I'm genuinely thrilled to be able to see some of these young guys who we've been talking about now, not just for months, for years.
Yeah.
Up on this stage, playing the way they're playing.
Yeah.
I know the numbers for Bazzana don't look great yet, but I think the numbers are a little deceiving.
I think he's going to be fine.
For how he's been playing. The exit velos are really good. He's making good contact.
He's getting on base.
His plate discipline's been really good.
Yeah.
DeLauder's on fire. Again, Messick's been a monster. All the guys besides Quan feel like they're trending in the right direction. Jose and Quan are on the – I'm not worried about Jose.
Listen, some of the guys that were hot early, like Martinez, Rocchio, Schneeman, they're cooling off a little bit.
But
listen, they
still there's a reason to go to the ballpark and be like, hey, it doesn't feel like there's 7 automatic outs or even 5.
Right.
Now it feels like you got 7 guys who, at any given point, you can't go to the bathroom for.
Yeah, Zach and I were talking about this morning on the Ultimate Guardian show how the floor for the lineup is higher.
So much higher.
And obviously there's been inconsistency, and the Quan thing is a major concern right now. Zach, who's less emotional about it than I am, gave it an 8 out of 10 in terms of concern. I mean, I know we're going to talk. We're talking about Quan a little more later.
Later in the show,
But he is. There's something going on there. We'll talk more about it later. But the rest of the lineup, I do feel like most of the guys, like Schneeman and Martinez and Rocchio kind of kept you afloat while the other guys were struggling. They need Jose to play like a superstar, and he hasn't in terms of hitting. Like, he's getting on base a ton. I think he leads the league in walks, or I don't know if he leads the league, but he's up there. He leads the league in stolen bases. We know he's a great leader, great defense. His hitting will be fine. He's been a little inconsistent early, and he's traditionally a slow starter. So usually in May he heats up. So hopefully that'll happen. But I do feel a lot better about the lineup. But it'd be nice to see Jose and DeLauder hot at the same time. Yeah. Felt like DeLauder was hot, Ramirez stunk, then Ramirez got hot, and DeLauder stunk, and now DeLauder is playing good again, and Ramirez is struggling again. But there's a lot to like about the lineup. There's a lot of potential in the lineup, and seeing the young guys starting to perform, getting their opportunity in the big leagues, and not just, he's the best guy in the minors. And the next guy is Cooper Ingle. Maybe Bo Naylor saved his job for another week. I know there's concerns about Cooper Ingle defensively, but this guy is killing it in the minors.
392 batting average in the minors.
Yeah, his OPS is over 1,000. I mean, again, a big jump from AAA to the majors, but I'm hoping that's next. But we'll see. They are very careful about how they handle their pitchers, and so. But still, as Zach and I were talking about this morning, like, you can call him up and play him half the time. You don't have to. Zach suggested, line him up with Cantillo and maybe Ciccone, and, you leave Austin Hedges for the other guys, whatever. Let's see what Bo Naylor does. Maybe this gets him going. I got no faith. Over 1,100 trips to the plate already in his career, and his OPS in the low 600s. So I got zero faith on him. But there's a lot to like about this team, and the division's completely open. And so, they're not playing great baseball, but they're playing well. The bullpen's improving. Like, Cade Smith is getting back to himself. Last 2 outings, he's faced 7 batters, has 5 strikeouts and 1 hit, no runs. And there's some arms I like in the minors in terms of relief pitchers. I have no faith in Slade Ciccone, even though he wasn't terrible yesterday. But there's no better option. 4 of their 5 starters at Columbus, including Logan Allen, have ERAs of 5.5 or worse.
Ugh.
They have one guy, Zach and I were talking about this, who has a 2 ERA. I can't even think of his name now. I'd never heard of him before. He's not one of their prospects.
Tugboat?
No. He's not AAA. I think he's in AA. But I can't remember the guy. The guy's not even one of their top prospects who's pitching well at Columbus. But that's it. So there's no reinforcements for the rotation, which could be a concern if somebody gets hurt. But there's a lot of positives on this team. I think they're going to need to make a trade for a bullpener at some point, maybe one more bat. But I feel good where they're at overall, and we'll talk, except for Quan. I'm really concerned. So we'll talk more about Quan later.